Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, February 22nd. Still an active weather pattern across the nation. Probably the highlights of the weather over the next week to 10 days or so will be a dramatic warm-up in the eastern states during the first half of next week, probably Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Quite mild relative to normal in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. There'll be a couple more strong storm systems moving in from the Pacific Ocean into California, into the western part of the U.S. probably early next week, and then a second one late next week. And we could be dealing with our first rather widespread severe weather outbreak in a while later next week across the Mississippi and the Tennessee valleys, and we'll kind of focus in on those details over the next few minutes here. Let's start off by looking at the 10-day forecast map from the 0Z GFS model run for total precipitation amounts over the 10 days. Much of this will be in the form of rain, but certainly some areas this will be in the form of snow. First of all, a continuation again of some storm systems out across the western U.S. Again, this is over the next 10 days. It appears the next big storm moving into California will be early next week, and then perhaps a second one late next week. So this is producing significant rainfall over the next 10 days across the coastal sections, the low-lying coastal areas, and snow in those higher elevation mountains of the Sierra Nevada. A lot of this out here will be in the form of snow in those higher elevations of the Rocky Mountains. Quite a bit of precipitation over the next several days across the Midwest, really a coupled systems, and one of these systems will be a strong cold front during the by the middle part of next week that again can produce some severe weather in this area right here, and we'll kind of focus in on that over the next series of maps here. And decent amount of precipitation amounts across the northeastern states. Again, a lot of kind of a bouncing back and forth between colder than normal conditions and warmer than normal conditions, but the period Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday certainly look quite warm relative to normal in this part of the nation. Well, let's kind of quickly walk through the vorticity forecast maps, again using the conventional run of the GFS at 0Z last night. These are areas in the upper part of the atmosphere associated with jet streaks or associated with some rotation in the upper part of the atmosphere that can lead to upward motion down at the lower levels. So they're the kind of areas that we key in on. Pretty flat zonal type flow for the most part as we begin the day here. By that I mean west to east kind of flow across much of the nation here on Thursday. Now let's move forward here. Not all that much activity over the next couple of days. We'll see one system dropping through the Great Lakes and the northeast U.S. by the early part of the upcoming weekend. Some rain later on tonight into maybe midday on Friday. Places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City ahead of a cold frontal system. Here is the vorticity associated with that cold frontal system. That'll usher in quick shot of cold air. Friday night and Saturday certainly colder than normal. Windy conditions as well, making air temperatures feel even colder, making temperatures feel even colder than the actual air temperatures with those wind chill values. It stays cold on Sunday, but then a big warm-up comes in the mid-Atlantic region, in the northeast U.S., Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Now, let's push through the weekend here. This is, again, Sunday. Again, quite a west to east type flow across much of the nation. First thing that tells you it's pretty mild overall. We got Pacific air moving in across the northern U.S., kind of bottling up any Arctic air to way up north across northern Canada. Now, here we go into the early part of next week. This is Tuesday morning. This is a system to watch. It, first of all, will produce some of that heavy rain and snow across California, Washington, Oregon. This is a Pacific Ocean storm system, a strong one at that, and it's got a lot of upper level support here. And it drives into the middle of the nation, and this is a time period beginning, let's say by the middle of next week, Wednesday, Thursday time frame, where Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley, certainly can be kind of a severe weather outbreak here again by the middle part of next week associated with this strong upper level system, and that will have a strong surface front with it crashing through the Midwest, and then here we go into about a week from now, next Thursday night time frame. That surface cold front by this time across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and moving into the east, and it'll change drastically. Those warm conditions expected Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By the time we get to Friday of next week, another cold shot moves in, and again, that will be a rather quick cold shot for the Mid-Atlantic Northeast U.S. And here we go, by the time we get to the first weekend of March, Saturday, March 2nd, quite a ridge showing up here across much of the nation, relatively mild conditions as we begin the month of March. Now let's walk through the 850 millibar temperature anomalies, a lot of above normal conditions as we begin the day here on Thursday, February 22nd. We have a cold shot coming to the northeast right here. It's a quick one, really centered on the Friday night and Saturday time frame, although Sunday remains quite chilly as well in the Mid-Atlantic region in the Northeast U.S. And we'll see, here we go into the day on Sunday. Still some colder than normal conditions hanging on Sunday along the eastern seaboard. But here we go with the next warm-up already starting to intensify over the middle of the nation. And that really widens. It spreads out here so that by the time we get to Tuesday, you have quite a dichotomy here, right? Quite a surface frontal system separating much colder than normal air to the north and west, much warmer than normal air to the south and east. And you can expect with conditions like that, it's an active frontal system indeed. Here we go by the middle part of next week, next Wednesday. Very separate air masses here. Cold out to the north and west, warm to the east. And this will be an active front, and again, the potential for some severe weather across the Mississippi Valley region, Tennessee Valley, by the middle part of next week. Something we'll have to monitor early next week. Again, it could be the first severe weather outbreak in quite a while here. That front continues to push to the east by Thursday. It's starting to move into the eastern U.S., and here we have another cold shot that will follow by the time we get to about a week from tomorrow, next Friday, the first day of March. Again, another pretty quick cold shot for the Mid-Atlantic Northeast U.S. We see right on its heels a lot of above normal conditions across the middle part of the nation by the time we get to Sunday, March 3rd. So that's about a little more than a week away from right now. We saw on that vorticity set of maps quite a ridge popping up across the center of the nation, and here we go. That's this upper level, warmer than normal conditions at the 850 millibar levels associated with that upper level ridge. Well, let's walk through the surface forecast maps. Beginning the day here, we have some rain out across the northern Ohio Valley. That spreads in the Mid-Atlantic region, warm enough that primarily in the form of rain, maybe a little bit of ice, places like the Poconos, northeastern PA, a little bit of snow, perhaps upstate New York associated with this frontal system, but it produces rain, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, not a significant rain event. And then colder air does move in by the time we get to tomorrow night into the day on Saturday, breezy as well. It stays chilly on Sunday, and there will be a system that will be kind of diving to the south and east on the backside of this frontal system that very well could produce some accumulating snow across the higher elevations of, let's say, western North Carolina as an example here over the upcoming week, and something that if you're in the Carolinas, especially Carolina mountains, watch for this system. Again, maybe some accumulating snow with that in the cold air mass behind the frontal system. Then we get into the first half of next week. This is the Monday morning forecast map. A couple of weak disturbances can throw some showers into the Mid-Atlantic region as it turns milder on Monday, probably at least well up in the 50s in the I-95 corridor region, maybe D.C. well up in the 60s by Monday afternoon. And this period right here in this part of the nation, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you can see the flow of air, a broad southerly flow of air pumping much milder than normal conditions across the upper Midwest, the northern plains, and again, some of that translates to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S. during the first half of next week. And here we go with that strong frontal system. By the time we get to the middle part of next week, we have quite a difference in air mass here. much colder than normal to the north and west, probably a strong surface frontal system located right about here. This is again next Wednesday morning, and watch for the possibility of some severe weather maybe in this region right here in this time frame, the middle part of next week. Again, cold air plunging to the south and east. We have a lot of warm air relative to normal ahead of it, and this is your potential battle zone area by the middle of next week. We'll go out a little farther in time here, and here we go. Even at this stage, this far ahead, almost a week away, we're looking at a potential squall line here over the middle Mississippi Valley, Tennessee Valley. Again, this is late Wednesday night time frame with that strong frontal system again pushing slowly to the south and east in this fashion. Watch out in this particular area, and we'll of course focus in on that threat over the next several days. Now, continues to move off to the east, and that strong front finally reaches the eastern seaboard by the end of next week, let's say around Thursday night or so, a week from right now, and that will usher in some colder air. Again, another quick cold shot, but a dramatic change from what we'll experience in the eastern U.S. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday, probably the transition day. By the time we get to Thursday night and Friday, that colder air moves in. There could be some snow to deal with in the interior, higher elevation locations as that cold blast arrives, but I wanted to just push forward and just show that that cold shot, again, rather quick. Here we are all the way out to the following weekend, Sunday, March 3rd, and you can see on the heels another broad flow of air out of the southwest to the northeast, warming up this part of the nation. So that cold shot that does arrive in the eastern states late next week will again be just a 1 or 2 day shot, and will return to much above normal conditions across certainly much of the northern U.S. during that first weekend of the month of March. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.